If you tolerate disrespect once, you teach people how to treat you forever. No one lowers your value by force, they test it, and they continue only if you allow it. In this video, you will learn how to enforce respect without anger, without drama, and without losing control. Strength is not loud, it is structured. And once you understand this, your presence changes. No one disrespects you by accident. Disrespect is tested, measured, repeated, and it continues only where it is tolerated. If someone interrupts you consistently, dismisses your input, speaks over you, mocks you subtly, ignores your boundaries, or speaks to you with a tone they would not use with others, that pattern did not form in a single moment. It formed through permission, not verbal permission, behavioral permission. Self-respect is not declared, it is enforced through conduct. Most people misunderstand this. They believe respect is granted based on status, personality, or good intentions. It is not. Respect is calibrated based on what you allow. If you laugh when someone belittles you, they register tolerance. If you stay silent when someone crosses a line, they register permission. If you continue engaging normally after being treated poorly, they register acceptance. People adjust behavior based on feedback. Silence is feedback. Over-accommodation is feedback. Nervous laughter is feedback. Stoicism begins with internal order. Before you demand respect externally, you must establish standards internally. If you are unclear about what you will and will not accept, others will define it for you. Self-respect starts with definition. What behavior crosses the line? Is it being spoken over repeatedly? Public sarcasm at your expense? Dismissive tone? Broken commitments? Uninvited criticism? You must define it clearly. Vague standards produce weak enforcement. When you do not define your limits, you negotiate them emotionally in real time. That leads to inconsistency. Inconsistency invites testing. A Stoic does not react emotionally to disrespect. He evaluates it. He observes, was this intentional? Is this a pattern? Is this ignorance or deliberate disregard? This evaluation prevents overreaction. Not every slight is disrespect. Some are misunderstandings. But repeated patterns reveal intention, and patterns must be addressed. Self-respect is demonstrated through posture, tone, pace, and response. If someone challenges you and your immediate reaction is defensive explanation, you lower your position. If someone questions your competence and you rush to justify yourself, you signal insecurity. Insecurity invites escalation. Composure signals boundaries. When disrespected, most people seek approval. They try harder. They speak more. They explain more. They prove more. This deepens the problem. If someone is testing your standing and you respond by seeking validation, you confirm their leverage. Stoic authority removes leverage. You do not chase approval. You do not compete for acknowledgement. You remain steady. There is a difference between humility and submission. Humility is strength under control. Submission is fear disguised as politeness. Self-respect does not require aggression. It requires refusal. Refusal to engage on lowered terms. Refusal to accept dismissive tone. Refusal to tolerate repeated boundary crossing. But that refusal must be calm. Anger communicates loss of control. Loss of control weakens authority. The strongest response to subtle disrespect is measured clarity. If someone interrupts you repeatedly in a meeting, you do not escalate emotionally. You say evenly, "I wasn't finished." Then continue speaking. No sarcasm, no hostility, no apology, just correction. Correction signals standard. If someone speaks to you in a dismissive tone, you do not mirror it. You slow down, you lower your voice, you maintain eye contact, and you respond with controlled brevity. Disrespect often seeks emotional reaction. When it does not receive it, it loses momentum. But understand this clearly. Calm does not mean passive. If someone repeatedly violates boundaries and you never address it directly, that is not stoicism. That is avoidance. Avoidance breeds quiet resentment. Resentment erodes self-respect. Self-respect erodes silently before external disrespect becomes visible. If you internally accept treatment you outwardly dislike, you fracture alignment. That fracture weakens presence. People sense when you do not believe in your own standards. Presence is built on congruence. Your words, posture, and tolerance must align. If you say you value respect but laugh at disrespect, you signal confusion. Confusion invites testing. The Stoic standard is simple. You cannot control how others behave. You control what you continue to participate in. Participation is endorsement. If someone consistently disrespects you and you continue voluntary engagement without correction, you reinforce their behavior. This is not about ego. It is about order. Healthy environments require clear lines. In professional settings, this is critical. If a colleague undermines you publicly and you remain silent repeatedly, your silence shapes perception. Others observe. They adjust how they treat you based on what you defend. Reputation is partially constructed by reaction. If you tolerate visible disrespect, observers recalibrate your status downward. This is not emotional. It is social mechanics. The Stoic does not obsess over reputation, but he understands perception matters in structured environments. Therefore, he corrects without theatrics. There is also internal disrespect, the way you speak to yourself. If you consistently accept your own broken promises, your own lowered standards, your own excuses, you weaken internal authority. Internal weakness translates externally. When you do not respect your own word, your presence loses weight. If you say you will improve something and you do not act, you train yourself to accept mediocrity. When someone externally challenges you, your internal doubt surfaces. Self-respect is built through kept commitments. Small ones first. Wake when you say you will wake. Finish what you say you will finish. Speak when correction is required. Silence when emotion wants dominance. Each disciplined action reinforces internal authority, and internal authority changes external dynamics. People often test others unconsciously. They interrupt to see if you yield. They joke at your expense to see if you defend. They delay commitments to see if you chase. Testing is natural in hierarchies. Your response determines future frequency. If you respond with nervous energy, the behavior increases. If you respond with calm correction, it decreases. Not always immediately, but consistently. The Stoic does not seek confrontation, but he does not avoid it when required. There is a critical distinction. You do not need to react to every minor slight. Selective response is power, but patterns must be addressed. If someone crosses a line once, observe. Twice, evaluate. Repeatedly, correct. Correction can be simple. That comment is unnecessary. Let's keep this professional. Speak directly. Short, controlled, final. Lengthy explanation weakens authority. Emotion weakens authority. Sarcasm weakens authority. Clarity strengthens authority. Understand this principle. You teach people how to treat you through what you reinforce. Reinforcement happens through attention, tolerance, and response. If you remain in environments that diminish you without addressing it, you are complicit in the pattern. Stoicism does not teach submission. It teaches disciplined response. Self-respect is not loud. It is consistent. It is visible in posture, in pace of speech, in refusal to over-explain, in refusal to over-apologize, in refusal to laugh at your own diminishment. When your internal standard is stable, external disrespect becomes easier to address. Because you are not defending ego, you are enforcing order. Disrespect begins where self-respect ends. If you strengthen the latter, the former reduces naturally. Not because the world becomes kinder, but because you stop permitting what lowers your standard. Disrespect only succeeds when it provokes you. The first battle is never external. It is internal. Someone challenges you publicly. Someone questions your competence. Someone uses a dismissive tone. Your body reacts before your mind does. Adrenaline rises. Your jaw tightens. Your voice wants to sharpen. This is the critical moment. If you react immediately, you surrender control. Emotional reaction transfers power to the aggressor. They set the frame. You respond inside it. Stoic authority begins with interruption. You must create a pause between stimulus and response. That pause is control. Without it, you are predictable. And predictability under pressure is weakness. Most disrespect is subtle. It hides inside tone, timing, body language. It is designed to test stability. If your response is explosive, you confirm instability. If your response is defensive, you confirm insecurity. If your response is silent but visibly shaken, you confirm discomfort. None of these establish authority. The Stoic does not suppress emotion. He regulates it. Suppression builds pressure internally. Regulation directs it. When you feel the surge, do not deny it. Notice it. Label it. Anger. Embarrassment. Threat. Naming emotion reduces its intensity. This is not theory. It is neurological. Unidentified emotion dominates behavior. Identified emotion can be managed. Then slow your physiology. Lower your breathing deliberately. Inhale through the nose. Controlled exhale. Your nervous system cannot remain in escalation if breathing slows. You are not calming down to appear polite. You are stabilizing to maintain advantage. Emotion narrows perception. Calm widens it. Under emotional reaction, you miss details. You focus only on attack. Under control, you see context. You evaluate. Is this person attempting dominance? Is this insecurity disguised as aggression? Is this miscommunication? Reaction eliminates analysis. Analysis preserves strategy. Imagine someone interrupts you mid-sentence and dismisses your idea. Your instinct may be to speak louder, to cut them off, to escalate. Instead, pause. Look directly at them. Let silence stretch briefly. Then say evenly, "I wasn't finished," and continue. No anger, no sarcasm, no apology. The calm tone communicates more authority than raised volume ever could. Volume is compensation. Control is dominance. Many people believe strength equals visible intensity. It does not. Visible intensity often signals loss of control, and loss of control weakens position. In professional environments, emotional reaction damages long-term standing. Colleagues observe. Leaders observe. They measure stability. If you cannot regulate yourself under minor provocation, you will not be trusted under real pressure. Emotional discipline builds reputation silently. When others escalate and you remain composed, contrast works in your favor. The calm individual appears grounded. The reactive individual appears unstable. Over time, this difference compounds. There is another reason to control reaction first. Disrespect often aims to draw you into a lower frame. If someone uses sarcasm and you respond with sarcasm, you accept their level. If someone uses hostility and you mirror it, you accept their level. The Stoic refuses the lower frame. He responds from his own standard. That standard does not fluctuate based on external behavior. You do not match energy, you maintain it. This requires practice. Your ego will resist. The ego wants immediate defense. It wants to restore status instantly. But true status is not restored through impulse. It is reinforced through composure. There is power in stillness. When someone expects reaction and receives restraint, they recalibrate. Your refusal to react emotionally creates psychological imbalance on their side. They must adjust. Silence can also be a weapon. If someone makes a disrespectful remark expecting laughter or discomfort, and you simply look at them without expression, the discomfort shifts to them. Silence forces accountability. But silence must be intentional, not frozen, not fearful, deliberate. The difference is posture. Your body language must align with your restraint. Straight spine, steady eye contact, relaxed shoulders, slow movements. Fast gestures signal agitation. Controlled movement signals stability. Emotional reaction also clouds language. Under anger, you say more than necessary. You over-explain. You justify. You attack. Later, you regret. The Stoic principle is simple. Say less. Short sentences. Clear correction. Then stop speaking. The one who speaks less under tension often controls the exchange. Excess words dilute authority. Another dimension is internal narrative. If someone disrespects you and you immediately think, "They are humiliating me," you intensify the experience. Humiliation requires internal agreement. If you do not internalize their attempt, it loses force. Their behavior is data, not definition. Emotional reaction often stems from identity threat. You feel your competence questioned, your status challenged, your value doubted. But identity built on external validation is unstable. If your self-respect is internal, external commentary cannot destabilize you easily. You correct behavior without defending identity. That distinction is critical. You are not protecting ego. You are protecting standards. In personal relationships, emotional reaction creates escalation cycles. One sharp tone triggers another. Volume rises. Language deteriorates. Resolution becomes impossible. If one person maintains control, escalation stops. Control is leadership, even outside formal hierarchy. If you want to be respected, you must demonstrate emotional maturity under friction. Emotional maturity is rare. Rarity creates value. Value commands respect. There will be moments when anger is justified. Injustice occurs. Lines are crossed intentionally. Even then, reaction must be controlled. Firm does not require loud. Direct does not require hostility. You can say, "That will not happen again," calmly, and mean it. Intensity without control is volatility. Intensity with control is power. When you master the first reaction, you gain time. Time allows strategy. Strategy allows precision. Precision reinforces authority. The untrained individual reacts and then thinks. The disciplined individual thinks and then acts. This reversal changes outcomes. Over time, controlling emotional reaction becomes automatic. At first, you will catch yourself mid-reaction, then earlier. Eventually, you intercept before expression. That is mastery. Disrespect loses force when it fails to trigger you. Many provocations exist only to test reaction. If reaction disappears, the behavior weakens. You do not need to dominate verbally. You need to remain unshaken. Unshaken presence communicates strength without performance. Control the first reaction. Everything else depends on it. If you cannot set boundaries calmly, you do not own them. Anger is often a delayed reaction. It builds when small violations go unaddressed. You tolerate, you dismiss, you rationalize. Then one day you explode. That explosion is not strength. It is accumulated avoidance. Stoic authority corrects early, without emotion, without theatrics, without hostility. A boundary is not a threat. It is a standard. And standards are communicated through clarity, not volume. Most people struggle with boundaries because they confuse them with confrontation. Confrontation feels aggressive, so they avoid it. Avoidance creates silent permission. Permission creates repetition. Repetition creates resentment. Resentment eventually leaks through tone, body language, or passive aggression. This weakens credibility. If you want to be respected, correction must be immediate and controlled, not delayed and emotional. Consider a simple scenario. Someone consistently interrupts you in meetings. The first time you may ignore it. The second time you observe. The third time you address it. Directly. "I'm speaking. Let me finish." No apology, no hostility, just structure. Structure communicates authority. When you over-explain your boundary, you dilute it. "I just feel like maybe I wasn't able to finish earlier." That signals uncertainty. Uncertainty invites negotiation. A boundary is not a negotiation. It is a statement. Short sentences, neutral tone, steady eye contact, then silence. Silence reinforces seriousness. Many people add nervous laughter after asserting themselves. That cancels the message. If you correct someone and then soften it with humor to reduce discomfort, you lower your own position. Discomfort is not the enemy. Instability is. If your correction creates brief tension, that is acceptable. Tension clarifies hierarchy. You are not seeking dominance. You are reinforcing order. Anger often enters when ego is involved. If you feel personally attacked, you may respond emotionally. But boundaries are not about ego. They are about conduct. Instead of thinking, "They disrespected me," think, "That behavior is not acceptable." This shifts from identity defense to standard enforcement. Identity defense is emotional. Standard enforcement is controlled. Another example. Someone makes a sarcastic remark at your expense in a group. The untrained reaction is forced laughter or counterattack. The stoic response is measured. Pause. Look at them. Then say calmly, "Explain what you mean." Now the burden shifts to them. Sarcasm thrives on speed. Slowing it exposes weakness. If the comment was careless, they retract. If it was deliberate, they must either escalate openly or withdraw. Either way, you did not react emotionally. You forced clarity. Clarity dismantles subtle disrespect. In professional environments, tone matters. If a superior speaks to you dismissively, you do not mirror aggression. You adjust posture. You respond with controlled brevity. If the pattern continues, you request a private conversation. I prefer direct communication. If there's an issue, address it clearly. That sentence is firm, not emotional, not accusatory. Firmness without hostility creates respect. Aggression creates resistance. Avoidance creates erosion. Firm clarity creates stability. Many avoid boundaries because they fear consequences. Loss of approval, social friction, temporary discomfort. But without boundaries, you lose something worse: self-respect. And once self-respect erodes, presence weakens. Others sense hesitation. They test further. There is also a timing principle. Correct behavior close to the moment it occurs. Delayed correction feels reactive. Immediate correction feels structured. If someone speaks over you and you address it weeks later, the impact is diluted. If you address it in real time, the standard is clear. Emotion escalates when you allow violations to accumulate. Address small issues early and escalation is rarely required. Another dimension is consistency. If you enforce boundaries one day and tolerate violations the next, your standard becomes unstable. Inconsistency invites testing. People calibrate based on repetition. If you are consistently measured and firm, behavior adjusts. Consistency requires internal discipline. You must detach from mood. Whether tired or energized, calm or stressed, your standard remains unchanged. That stability builds reputation. Reputation shapes treatment. Boundaries also require consequence. Not dramatic consequence, but behavioral adjustment. If someone repeatedly disrespects you in informal settings and refuses correction, you reduce access. Less availability, less engagement, no announcement, just adjustment. Attention is currency. Withdraw it strategically. In personal relationships, boundaries are even more critical. Familiarity can erode respect if standards fade. If a friend repeatedly makes dismissive jokes and you tolerate them, the behavior strengthens. If you say clearly, "Don't speak to me like that," and hold eye contact, the dynamic shifts. If they respect you, they adjust. If they resist, you gain information. Information allows decision. Stoicism does not require you to remain where you are diminished. It requires you to act without emotional chaos. Another common mistake is overcorrecting. After tolerating disrespect for too long, some swing toward aggression. They become rigid, sharp, confrontational in every exchange. This is compensation. True authority does not need constant assertion. It asserts only when required. Selective enforcement increases weight. If you challenge every minor inconvenience, you appear insecure. If you ignore every violation, you appear weak. Discernment matters. Address patterns, not accidents. Address intent, not clumsiness. Setting boundaries without anger also requires body control. Your tone must be steady, your breathing slow, your movements controlled. Physical agitation contradicts verbal firmness. Alignment creates credibility. Disrespect often seeks emotional reaction. because emotion destabilizes hierarchy. If you respond with calm clarity, the dynamic shifts. Over time, you become known as someone who does not tolerate lowered standards, not because you are aggressive, but because you are consistent. Consistency builds silent authority. People adjust before testing, because your responses are predictable, measured, direct, final. There is no drama, no performance, just structure. Boundaries protect time, energy, and self-respect. Without them, you operate inside other people's standards. With them, you define your own. Set them early. Enforce them calmly. Repeat without emotion. Respect follows structure. If you need approval, you will tolerate disrespect. Not openly, subtly. You will ignore tone. You will excuse behavior. You will minimize violations. Because losing approval feels heavier than losing self-respect. This is the root problem. The need for approval creates leverage, and leverage invites pressure. If someone senses that you require their validation, they control the dynamic. They can withdraw warmth. They can withhold praise. They can apply subtle disapproval, and your behavior adjusts automatically. This is not strength, it is dependency. Stoic authority begins with internal validation. You know your standards, you know your effort, you know your character. External praise becomes optional. Optional things do not control you. Most people fear being disliked, so they soften their boundaries. They laugh at disrespectful jokes. They accept dismissive language. They over-accommodate. They confuse agreeableness with respect. Agreeableness without standards becomes submission. Respect is not built through pleasing. It is built through consistency. If your behavior changes to maintain approval, you signal instability. Instability invites testing. Detachment does not mean arrogance. It means independence. You can appreciate approval without needing it. You can receive praise without depending on it. You can handle criticism without collapsing. That independence shifts posture. When someone attempts to pressure you socially, you do not rush to recover approval. You remain neutral. Imagine a workplace scenario. A superior makes a sarcastic comment about your work in front of others. If you need their approval, you will likely laugh and downplay it. You will attempt to regain favor, but that attempt lowers your position. If you are internally grounded, you respond calmly. If there's a concern, let's address it directly. No hostility. No need for their immediate comfort. You prioritize clarity over approval. This is strength. Approval-seeking behavior is often unconscious. Watch for these signals. Over-explaining your decisions. Apologizing when unnecessary. Seeking reassurance after asserting a boundary. Changing opinions to align with the group. Each behavior weakens authority. The Stoic principle is simple. Do what is right. Accept the response. If your standard is clear and your conduct is disciplined, approval becomes secondary. This removes fear. And without fear, your presence stabilizes. There is also a psychological shift that occurs when you detach from approval. You stop interpreting disagreement as rejection. Someone can disagree with you without diminishing you. Someone can dislike your decision without threatening your identity. This clarity prevents overreaction. If approval defines your worth, any disagreement feels like disrespect. If identity is internal, disagreement becomes data, not threat. This changes how you interpret social friction. You no longer rush to restore harmony at your own expense. You allow tension to exist when necessary. Temporary tension is acceptable. Self-betrayal is not. Many people accept disrespect because they fear isolation. They fear exclusion from group dynamics. But inclusion at the cost of self-respect is unstable. Groups respect those who respect themselves, not those who chase belonging. Chasing belonging signals vulnerability. Calm independence signals strength. Detachment also reduces emotional volatility. If someone praises you, you remain steady. If someone criticizes you, you remain steady. Your internal state does not fluctuate dramatically. That stability commands respect. Extreme reaction to praise or criticism signals insecurity. Insecurity invites subtle dominance behavior from others. Consider negotiation. If the other party senses you need the deal emotionally, they gain leverage. If they sense you are prepared to walk away, the balance shifts. Approval works the same way. If someone senses you need their validation, they unconsciously adjust power dynamics. If they sense you are indifferent to their approval but committed to standards, they recalibrate. This does not make you cold, it makes you stable. There is a difference. Stability attracts respect because it reduces unpredictability. People trust those who are not driven by social pressure. Another critical element is silence. When you detach from approval, you stop filling silence to ease discomfort. You allow pauses in conversation. You do not rush to explain. You do not chase affirmation. Silence communicates confidence. Confidence reduces the need for validation. In personal relationships, approval seeking often leads to imbalance. One person adjusts constantly. The other sets the tone. Over time, resentment forms. Healthy relationships require mutual respect. Mutual respect requires mutual boundaries. If you are afraid to lose someone's approval, you will avoid enforcing boundaries. That avoidance erodes connection. True connection withstands standards. If someone withdraws because you asserted a calm boundary, that information is valuable. It reveals incompatibility. Stoicism teaches acceptance of reality. If maintaining approval requires lowering your standards, the cost is too high. Detachment simplifies decisions. You ask, is this aligned with my principles? If yes, proceed. If not, adjust. Approval becomes irrelevant to the decision. This clarity reduces anxiety. Much social anxiety is rooted in fear of judgment. If you reduce dependence on judgment, anxiety decreases. You do not perform constantly. You act deliberately. Another benefit of detachment is selective engagement. You stop trying to win over everyone. You stop overextending to secure acceptance. You conserve energy. Energy conservation increases presence. Presence increases authority. The paradox is this: when you stop seeking approval, you often receive more respect, not because you are trying, but because you project independence. Independence removes desperation. Desperation weakens perception. If you enter any environment needing approval, you are negotiating from a lower position. If you enter grounded in self-respect, you are negotiating from stability. Stability changes tone. It changes pace. It changes body language. People sense it. You cannot demand respect while seeking validation. The two are incompatible. Choose internal validation first. Approval may follow. If it does not, you remain intact, and that is power. Not every situation deserves your response. Not every person deserves your correction. Not every environment deserves your presence. Strength is not only the ability to confront, it is the ability to disengage without emotion. Many people remain in disrespectful dynamics because they fear what walking away implies. They fear appearing weak. They fear losing status. They fear losing connection. But staying where you are consistently diminished is not strength. It is attachment. Attachment to outcome. Attachment to validation. Attachment to familiarity. Stoic authority understands this clearly. You cannot control how others behave. You can control what you continue to participate in. Participation is power. When you remain engaged in a disrespectful exchange, you grant energy to it. Energy sustains it. Withdrawal removes oxygen. Walking away is not avoidance, it is strategic disengagement. Avoidance is driven by fear. Strategic disengagement is driven by clarity. The difference is internal posture. If someone attempts to provoke you and you respond with escalating argument, you accept their frame. If someone repeatedly undermines you and you continue to seek their acknowledgement, you reinforce their leverage. If someone ignores boundaries after calm correction, escalation is not always required. Distance is. Silence can be louder than confrontation. Imagine a colleague who consistently dismisses your input. You corrected once. You corrected twice. The behavior continues. You do not argue endlessly. You reduce engagement. You limit exposure. You stop volunteering additional value to someone who does not reciprocate respect. No announcement. No dramatic exit. Just adjustment. Over time, absence communicates seriousness. People recalibrate when access changes. Access is currency. Those who disrespect you do not deserve unlimited access to your time or energy. Walking away also protects composure. Some individuals thrive on reaction. They provoke to create instability. If you engage repeatedly, you fuel the cycle. If you disengage calmly, the cycle weakens. This requires ego control. The ego wants the last word. It wants visible victory. It wants validation of dominance. But dominance is not always proven through confrontation. Often it is proven through indifference. If someone attempts to insult you publicly and you respond once with calm correction, and they persist, the most powerful move may be non-engagement. You do not defend repeatedly. You do not debate endlessly. You disengage. Observers notice who remains composed and who seeks chaos. Long-term perception favors stability. Walking away also applies to environments. If a workplace consistently erodes your standards and correction yields no structural change, remaining indefinitely signals self-neglect. Stoicism is not passive endurance of toxicity, it is rational assessment of reality. If conditions do not align with your standards and improvement is not possible, departure is discipline. Departure without resentment, without public complaint, without theatrics, just decision. The same applies to personal relationships. If boundaries are dismissed repeatedly and respect does not improve, distance becomes necessary, not as punishment, as preservation. Preserving self-respect is not selfish, it is foundational. When you remain in disrespectful environments out of fear, you internalize lowered standards. That internal erosion weakens presence everywhere else. You begin to tolerate more than you should. You second-guess your own expectations. Your posture shifts. Walking away restores alignment. There is also timing involved. You do not walk away at the first sign of friction. Discomfort is part of growth. Disagreement is not disrespect. The Stoic distinguishes between challenge and degradation. Challenge sharpens you. Degradation lowers you. If an interaction pushes you to improve, stay. If it consistently diminishes your standing despite correction, reconsider participation. Another scenario. A conversation becomes heated. Voices rise. Respect deteriorates. You feel emotion escalating. The strongest move may not be winning the argument, it may be ending it. This conversation is no longer productive. We'll continue later. Then leave, not abruptly in anger, not dramatically. Controlled. Ending a degrading exchange prevents damage. Damage done in emotional escalation lingers. Words spoken in heat often weaken long-term authority. Walking away preserves long-term position. Many confuse endurance with strength. They believe tolerating continuous disrespect demonstrates resilience. It does not. Resilience is enduring hardship aligned with purpose, not enduring degradation without purpose. There is also a strategic layer. When you remove yourself from disrespectful dynamics, you create contrast. If others rely on your contribution, and you withdraw it due to lowered standards, absence clarifies value. Value recognized too late is still recognized, but this must be done without emotional manipulation. You are not withdrawing to punish. You are withdrawing because your standard requires it. Internal clarity matters. If you walk away angrily, you carry resentment. If you walk away calmly, you carry control. Control maintains authority even in absence. Walking away also reduces escalation cycles. Some individuals push boundaries incrementally. They test, you respond. They escalate slightly. Without clear disengagement, the cycle continues. Strategic withdrawal interrupts escalation. It forces recalibration. Not every relationship or environment will adjust. Some will simply end. That is acceptable. Stoicism teaches acceptance of what cannot be changed. You cannot force respect. You can remove participation where it does not exist. That is enough. Silence after a clear boundary communicates finality. Repeated explanation weakens seriousness. When correction fails, distance replaces discussion. This is not hostility. It is structure. Your time is finite. Your energy is limited. Invest it where standards align. Disengagement also strengthens internal discipline. When you choose to walk away rather than argue endlessly, you demonstrate control over ego. Ego seeks victory. Discipline seeks alignment. Alignment sustains authority. There is power in being difficult to provoke. There is power in being willing to leave. Those who are not afraid to walk away negotiate from strength. Those who cling negotiate from weakness. This applies in business, in friendships, in partnerships, in social dynamics. If you can walk away without emotional collapse, you remove leverage from others. Leverage disappears when dependency disappears. Dependency often hides beneath pride. Examine honestly. Are you staying because it aligns with your standards, or because you fear losing something? If fear is driving the decision, you are compromised. If principle is driving the decision, you are stable. Walking away is not dramatic. It is quiet, deliberate, final when necessary. Respect increases when others know you are willing to leave lowered conditions, not loudly, but consistently. If correction fails and patterns remain, disengage. No resentment, no hostility, no announcement, just action. That is strength. The strongest position is not correcting disrespect. It is preventing it. Some people are tested constantly. Others rarely are. The difference is not luck. It is presence. Presence is built before conflict appears. If you want to stop being disrespected, you must become someone who signals standards immediately. Not through aggression, through structure. People assess you within seconds. Posture, eye contact, speech pace, emotional stability. All of it communicates rank. If you speak too quickly, you signal nervous energy. If you oversmile in serious settings, you signal approval seeking. If you avoid eye contact when challenged, you signal hesitation. These signals invite subtle dominance attempts. Calm posture reduces them. Stand upright. Move deliberately. Hold eye contact when speaking. Break eye contact slowly, not abruptly. Physical control communicates internal control. Internal control commands respect. Speech patterns matter. If you use excessive filler words, you dilute authority. If that's okay, I just think maybe, sorry, but remove them. Speak in complete sentences. Stop talking when the sentence ends. Silence after speaking strengthens weight. Over-explaining weakens it. You do not need to convince everyone, you need to state clearly. People who are difficult to disrespect are consistent. Their mood does not determine their standard. They are not warm one day and uncertain the next. Consistency creates predictability. Predictability builds reputation. Reputation shapes behavior before interaction begins. If you are known for calm firmness, fewer people attempt boundary violations. If you are known for emotional reaction, more people test you. Reputation compounds. Small, disciplined actions accumulate. Every time you enforce a boundary calmly, you reinforce identity. Every time you control emotional reaction, you reinforce stability. Every time you walk away when necessary, you reinforce independence. Over time, these signals converge. You become structurally solid. There is also competence. Competence commands respect naturally. If your work is precise, your preparation thorough, your delivery controlled, people hesitate before dismissing you. Weak performance invites disregard. Strong performance reduces it. This is not about perfection. It is about effort. If you show up prepared consistently, you reduce opportunities for undermining. Professional authority is built through repeated reliability. Reliability creates weight. Weight discourages disrespect. Another factor is selective speech. Those who speak constantly reduce the value of their words. Those who speak selectively increase it. If you comment on everything, you invite challenge. If you speak only when you have something clear to add, your words carry more force. Measured contribution increases perceived authority. Emotional predictability also matters. If others know you will not overreact, they trust your stability. If others know you will not tolerate lowered standards, they adjust behavior. The combination is powerful, stable and firm. There is also alignment between private and public behavior. If you tolerate disrespect privately but attempt to appear strong publicly, inconsistency leaks. Integrity means your standard applies everywhere, not only when observed. Private discipline builds public presence. If you break commitments to yourself, you weaken internally. If you tolerate internal excuses, you lose sharpness. Internal discipline reflects externally. People sense when someone lacks internal order. They sense hesitation. They sense uncertainty. That perception influences treatment. Becoming difficult to disrespect also requires emotional neutrality toward validation. If praise excites you excessively, criticism will destabilize you equally. Neutrality builds steadiness. Steadiness builds authority. Authority reduces testing. You must also remove desperation from your posture. Desperation is visible in how you seek approval, in how quickly you respond to messages, in how available you make yourself. Availability without selectivity lowers perceived value. Scarcity increases it. You do not need to be distant. You need to be deliberate. Respond with intention. Schedule with structure. Decline when necessary without apology overload. I'm not available. Complete sentence. No justification required. Those who justify every boundary appear uncertain about it. Certainty reduces pushback. Another dimension is emotional self-sufficiency. If you rely heavily on others for emotional stability, you become vulnerable to manipulation. If someone can destabilize your mood easily, they control part of your state. Reduce this vulnerability. Build internal anchors, physical training, intellectual discipline, solitude without discomfort. These strengthen independence. Independence strengthens posture. Posture shapes treatment. There is also social awareness. Not every environment operates at the same standard. Choose associations carefully. If you remain in circles where disrespect is normalized, your standards will constantly be tested. Environment influences expectation. Place yourself among disciplined individuals. Standards rise collectively. Low-standard environments require constant enforcement. High-standard environments require minimal correction. Selection is strategic. Finally, embody virtue, wisdom, justice, courage, self-control. If you are fair in your dealings, others hesitate to attack your character. If you are disciplined in your conduct, others hesitate to question your seriousness. If you are calm under pressure, others hesitate to provoke you. Virtue builds unspoken authority. Authority reduces confrontation frequency. Over time, you will notice something. You correct less. You explain less. You defend less. Because fewer people attempt to cross lines. Not because the world changed. Because you did. Your posture changed. Your tone changed. Your reaction changed. Your standards became visible. Becoming difficult to disrespect is not about intimidation. It is about alignment. When your internal standard, external behavior, and response discipline align, you project structure. Structure commands respect. Chaos invites challenge. Do not focus only on reacting better. Focus on becoming stable enough that fewer reactions are required. That is the highest level of authority. You are not loud. You are not aggressive. You are not performative. You are consistent, measured, unshaken. And that makes disrespect inefficient. Respect is not demanded. It is enforced through standards. You now understand the structure. Control your emotional reaction. Set boundaries without anger. Detach from approval. Walk away when necessary. Build presence that discourages disrespect before it begins. Most people will not do this. They will continue laughing at comments that diminish them. They will continue over-explaining themselves. They will continue choosing approval over self-respect, and they will wonder why nothing changes. You are not here to wonder. You are here to build structure. Disrespect survives on hesitation. It survives on emotional reaction. It survives on fear of disapproval. Remove those, and it weakens. Understand this clearly. You do not need to intimidate. You do not need to dominate. You do not need to argue constantly. You need consistency, calm correction, measured tone, controlled posture, clear standards. When your behavior aligns with your principles, people adjust. And if they do not, you adjust your proximity. That is power. Not loud power, stable power. From this point forward, observe yourself. Do you laugh when you should correct? Do you over-explain when you should state? Do you stay when you should disengage? Awareness is the first correction. Discipline is the second. If you are serious about changing how the world treats you, commit to one action today. Correct one boundary calmly. Just once. No anger, no hesitation, no apology. Then observe what happens. If this message aligns with you, write in the comments, "I set the standard," not for attention, for accountability, and subscribe, not for motivation, for reinforcement, because respect begins internally. And from now on, you do not negotiate it.